BD214 Network podcast is for mature audiences only. Any videos, music, or entertainment not originating from DD214 Network is used and covered under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, also known as fair use. Opinions expressed are our own and do not represent any DoD or U.S. government entities as a whole. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Viewer and listener discretion is advised. You are no longer alone now because we have you.
What's going on, everybody? And we're back.
What's going on?
How's everybody feeling? We are back after not being live last week. We took we off on Easter.
Yeah, it was a little it was a little unexpected, but we roll with it. That's kind of what we do. So that was okay. We kind of took a little miniature hiatus. And that was okay. It was okay. We got a week off out of it. We got a week off out of it.
We got a week off out of it. I will say honestly, I was kind of, I wasn't annoyed. I wasn't unhappy. I was actually kind of happy because I was hungover as fuck sitting there when we were discussing potentially, having to call it a week and take a week off.
While I was flipping tables,
I was miserable. I was, over with the neighbor all day, drinking with him that Saturday. Then we went out to dinner for the brother-in-law's birthday, and I drank a little bit too much there. And then from there, we came back and went back over to the neighbors and drank some more. And I'm
picking up on a theme here. I'm picking up on a little bit of a theme here. Like
it's happened. Yeah, it's happening.
I think I probably drank about 2 cases of Michelob Ultras, and 3 margaritas.
Well, I just want to say personally, for me to you, I look forward to occupying space in hell with you. So,
can I ask a question about beer?
Of course you can. You got 2 of your homies right here, like happy to talk about it.
What is the difference between like when they have like, okay, there's Michelob Ultra, and then there's like Bud Light and Modelo Gold? Like, what are the differences?
Joe, you want to take this one, and then I'll chime in. Like,
yeah, what are these different like levels? Is it potency? Is it taste?
I don't think there is much of one. I think it does come down to taste. Most of those lighter beers, especially the Pilsners, the yellow beer, they tend to be more watery. Like that's why we joke about drinking it like water, right? So when it comes down to like Michelob Ultra, Bud Light, Bud Select, fucking X, Y, or Z, these different popular brand beers, a lot of it just comes down to which horse piss do you prefer?
Well, and then also at the same time, like for me, the thing is, like, I used to be a Bud Light drinker, religious Bud Light drinker. I have nothing against Bud Light. The problem is it's probably one of the heaviest light beers.
Calorie-wise?
I get too, like it's a very bloating beer. It has the word light in the name, but it's not a true light beer. Where like Michelob Ultra doesn't advertise itself as a light beer, but they put, on the can, it's only 96 carbs and like 14 calories or some shit like that. Like it's a true light beer.
Right.
And it's really, that's why you hear us say we're drinking water, because especially like when the summertime hits and I'm outside and we're at the pool and stuff, I can sit there and knock those back all day and not get drunk because I'm sweating it right out. It's coming right back out. The alcohol's not actually going through my whole system.
Like fucking, you basically metabolize the shit before you even finish drinking the fucking thing. And then like this fucking Miller High Life, right? Freaking everybody's favorite freaking hangover beer. Freaking, I got 6 of these 16-ounce pint cans for less than $6. So I got the equivalent of 8 beers for less than $6. That's why I'm drinking this shit right now. It has nothing to do with like the taste or the flavor or that I prefer.
And then you got,
Miller High Life. I don't prefer Miller High Life, but it's cheap.
Like I like the lighter beers, but then I also have, I also go for an IPA every once in a while, some of the heavier stuff. But that's if, I'm going downtown with the missus, we're going to have a couple drinks.
Yep.
You actually come right back home.
You actually want to taste your fucking beer instead of like use it as like, when you're drinking water, basically.
Instead of inhaling it like I'm trying to hydrate and I want to taste the beer and, so, you've got your Bud Lights, your Mick Ultras, your Coors Lights, your, those are you're just drinking it for the fucking hell of drinking it.
That's basically, that's really what it is.
Then you've got your porters, your IPAs, your lagers, a lot of the micro brews. Those you're getting for flavor because they have different flavor profiles, different things like that.
But with great power comes great responsibility. With all that flavor comes a shitload of fucking calories. You're basically like ingesting like meals, not a meal, meals plural. Like you'll be ingesting the caloric equivalent of like meals. So you got to be careful with those two. Like that's the balance of the scales there. Like
one of my favorite IPAs comes from New Belgium Brewing. It's their Voodoo Ranger Fruit Force. It's a really fruity IPA, but they're like, it's like eating 2 fucking MREs, whole MREs, not dividing it up into fucking multiple meals, just eating 2 whole MREs, and they're right at 9.89% by volume on the alcohol scale. So that's, you drink 2 of those and you're feeling a little, you're feeling a little bit of a buzz and you're done, kind of beer. Where like this one, it's got the calorie content of probably 1 whole MRE. So it's like a day's worth of a meal, but it's only, I think it's like 5% by volume, this Yingling Hershey.
And that's if you drank like a couple of them probably, right? You'd have to drink like a 6-pack to get that many calories. But just one of those beers is probably like over 300 calories, 300 or 400 calories. Just one.
And then,
that's
because I am a connoisseur of alcohol, I've got another example. Then I've got stuff like this. It's from Monster. It's the Nasty Beast. It's a hard tea. It's tea and lemonade. It's an Arnold Palmer with 6% alcohol.
Is it good?
Yeah. The brisk iced teas from back in the day?
Who the fuck makes that?
Monster.
What? Oh, fuck. They're gonna have to start taking my money again.
Oh shit!
It doesn't have the caffeine in it. So they have 2 different things. They've got the Nasty Beasts, which are a tea. So they've got the tea ones, which are the Nasty Beasts, and then they have the regular beasts, which are the same flavor profiles as their energy drinks, but no caffeine, and then 6% alcohol.
Interesting. It's very interesting. I might have to like check into that.
Super interesting. So this week, New Jersey had an earthquake.
Yeah, I heard about that. How the fuck did that go? Fucking.
So before I get into like my personal experience and what happened here to the house, I just want to go off and say before anyone calls me a bitch that you can experience thousands of earthquakes in your lifetime and not even notice. All right.
Sure.
So I'm going to start off with that. We had a 4.8 earthquake, and then about 8 hours later, we had another one, a 4.0, which a lot. I guess it's debatable, right? Because some sources are saying it was just a big aftershock. Other sources are saying it was another earthquake. Whatever it was, New Jersey shook that day twice.
Right.
And to put into perspective, I am about 40 minutes away from where the epicenter is of where the earthquake happened.
So not too far away.
Yeah. So, pretty much as long as it takes to me to get to my mom's house is about the distance of where
Sure.
this, but it wasn't. My mom said that she didn't really feel it that much. She felt it, but I'm playing Fallout, minding my own business, and all of a sudden I hear, I live next to a train track. So, the first thing I initially thought was all the trains coming because I heard the rumble. And then all of a sudden the house just started shaking. The monitors were shaking, things were falling off my shelf, and then I heard things in the living room falling off. And all of a sudden my wife ran into the room. The house is still shaking, and and then it stopped, and we go outside to see what was going on. And I looked at my wife, and the first thing I said, I was like, that was either one of two things. Either that was an earthquake or the house is about to collapse. And my first initial thought was that the train derailed.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, if you live close enough to tracks, and
to put it into perspective, it would take me not even 30 seconds to walk over to the train tracks right now.
Sure. My girls' grandparents in West Virginia, they live directly off of like some train tracks.
Yeah.
I mean, like their house is like I'm talking like 20 feet, 25 feet.
Yeah, that's about.
There's the corner of the house, and then the embankment going up to the train track starts.
That's it. That's exactly what it's like, because I have the bridge right next to my house too, and it is like that. That was my first thought. The train derailed. Oh shit! And when we went outside, obviously the train was passing by at the same time that the earthquake happened, but like it was just like, it was like holy shit. And I have never felt anything like that in my life. Like
I've heard it can be like discombobulating because like everything around you is shaking and you don't know why. You know what I mean? It's like almost like a vertigo or nausea. You know what I mean? Kind of like where you're like
I was
disorienting. Go ahead, Joe.
I mean, I'm 8 hours from Jersey,
8 hours south,
roughly, and I felt the fucking aftershock from the first quake.
Yeah.
That happened earlier that day. Like I'm sitting here and my chair kind of wobbled. They're doing some construction in the townhouse next to us, doing some renovations to it. So I was thinking, oh, it's just, they fucking are banging around and shit. But then as messages started popping up in my work chats from people that live in the Philly, Jersey, New York area, I was like, oh, fuck. And then I looked out my window right here beside me, and I'm like, the construction crew's not even here. So I'm like,
shit.
Oh shit. And then you started talking about an earthquake too, John. And I'm like, oh, that had to have been the fucking aftershock.
It was so, you think what a vibration is, right? You think you know what a vibration is until you're actually vibrating in it. Like, no shit. Like it was so weird because you're standing up and you're not moving, but everything else around you is. And you don't know if the floor is going to fall beneath you. And my son, who was still sleeping, my oldest one, he was still sleeping. He woke up, he was like, what the hell was that? So for the kids, it was actually kind of rough for them. They had a hard time sleeping that night, especially when the second one came in the evening. That one, my wife said that she felt a little vertigo from that one.
Yeah, because it can be really apparently it can be real. I've never experienced an earthquake. Apparently, we were in California on a vacation when I was, I think, in middle school.
Yeah,
and a very light one occurred overnight while we were sleeping at the hotel, but we didn't feel it.
Yeah.
So I've never experienced feeling an earthquake. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But I've heard a lot of different people describe it as in different ways. As like it can be very disorienting and kind of like it just throws you off.
Confusing.
Basically. It's confusing.
It physically confuses your physical body,
right,
and then it confuses your mental too, and it really fucks with your psyche. Like I was telling you guys, like you just don't know, what's going to happen next. But I'm just glad there was actually barely any damage in the state of New Jersey. They actually closed down all the bridges. They shut down the train stations to inspect everything, and they finished everything. I think within 18 to 24 hours, they were able to inspect the whole state, apparently, which I think is great.
That is good job on all the first responders and the people that do the trades and the guys that check the lines, check the bridges.
Yeah. Now, what's super interesting too is that
that's a really good emergency response.
Yeah,
you know,
it was fast.
Were able to shut it down and get it turned around before a whole day passed.
We're talking. I mean, it's infrastructure, and I don't need to remind anybody that John living in New Jersey is the eastern fucking seaboard. So there's a lot of people, and a lot of people depend on those like highways and byways, rail lines.
Yeah,
different freight that comes in off of fucking ships. Okay, like we're just talking about straight up.
And we just had a major bridge collapse too, and that bridge collapse is like that's for us in the East Coast. And especially for Squilini,
a big fucking deal.
That bridge is like deal. If that's. So I've looked because I've traveled on that bridge before.
Yeah, it's a very common bridge if you're going up and down.
If you're going from North Carolina up to the northern states, up to Jersey, Philly, New York, you know, those areas, you're typically going across that bridge at some point in those travels.
Not anymore, man. It's
now there's, you know, a huge detour. I will commend the fucking mayor for Baltimore because when they were still doing the search and rescue afterwards, because there was like 10 vehicles still on the bridge when the collapse happened and shit.
Yeah, the construction vehicles.
A reporter asked him, well, what are we doing about, you know, getting it rebuilt? What's the plan there? And he was like, right now is not the time to be discussing rebuilding the bridge. We need to be focused on finding the people that were involved in the accident. We need to be focused on the search and rescue. And their mayor's 35? So he's me and John.
Yeah, he's young. Yeah, he's super young.
Yeah, good for him. Good for him. Absolutely.
Guys, we could run for president.
You're old enough to now, yes.
No.
Yeah, 35.
That day, my first day in KC is when I'm officially old enough.
Fuck yeah, man. Fuck yeah. So yeah, that was an interesting experience. So today's the 7th?
Today's the 7th.
So tomorrow, guys, just so you guys know, this may be the last ever DD214 Network podcast episode, as tomorrow is the end of the world. So
shut up. The solar eclipse. You're funny. Dude, no shit. Did you see somewhere else? Did you see that stupid fucking governor down in Arkansas already declared a state of emergency for tomorrow?
Yeah, I was like, what?
What timeline are we living? Like, you're actually... That's a governor of a whole ass state declaring a state of emergency for a fucking solar eclipse, dude. The shit was predicted like fucking hundreds of years ago.
So here's the thing: the schools here are all closing down at 1:00 or at like noon to get the kids home because they don't want the kids looking directly at it. So they want to get the kids home before the fucking eclipse happens.
Keep them the fuck inside. The shit only lasts like a couple hours. What the fuck? What?
Yeah.
All right. So, quick question: what superpowers do you think you guys are going to get tomorrow?
None. I've seen a few solar eclipses. This is not my first road. Like that doesn't.
This might be the one, though.
This is
if I get anything, I'm hoping for fucking flight.
Okay.
Maybe super strength. Super strength would be nice, but you know, I doubt we're gonna get anything because it's a fucking solar eclipse. It's not the goddamn end of the fucking world.
Stop killing my hopes and dreams, guys. Okay, we're getting powers tomorrow.
I just want.
If you want powers, go fucking stand inside of a fucking nuclear reactor.
I just want to unequivocally state, like, it.
Not a bad idea.
Every time I think I can't possibly be more disappointed in the human race, something else comes up.
Something else fucking happens,
and I'm just like,
like,
what in the actual fuck are we talking about here? It's an eclipse. A fucking eclipse.
The thing is, here's the thing. We all might have been in the army. We all might have been dumbasses and been in the army at one point. But we're all fucking smart enough to know that the fucking solar eclipse isn't going to fucking end the world. We're not going to get fucking superpowers, John, unfortunately.
Come on.
I mean, I
it's the shadow of the moon crossing the earth.
Yeah.
I say again, it's just the shadow of the moon crossing the earth. That's it.
The gods are listening. I want super speed.
And I'm still going to say this. I'm going to say this right now. The one movie that's come out in my lifetime that has really depicted the timeline we're living in, Idiocracy.
Yeah, and that's really
Idiocracy has is the fucking timeline we're living in.
It's
100%.
And it's very.
We just take warning labels off of fucking everything.
Well,
at this point, dispose of fucking warning labels. Let Darwinism take its fucking course.
Dude, I'm seeing
in a lot better fucking state than we are now.
I've seen glimpses of this for the last probably like 10 or 15 years where it's just like most of like our country that is like our age and younger is like functionally illiterate, dude. Like nobody, there's readers out there and there's people that still love to read and like love all that stuff. But like functionally, like nobody fucking reads anymore. Nobody grows up reading. They grow up texting. They grow up texting with like terrible spelling, terrible grammar, like zero of any legible good punctuation. And this is not me. I'm not talking shit about individuals here or trying to make a general statement. What I am saying is though, I've noticed just very, very, it's very easy to notice like the dumbing down. And it starts with fucking literacy. It starts with reading goddamn books, reading words and knowing how to spell them and knowing how to like put sentences together. And I probably sound like an old codger yelling at the clouds right now, which I probably am. But the truth is I can fucking write a fucking paragraph, and make it sound fucking good. And you can't. Right. And that's the difference is I would be very confident in my abilities to actually put something down on paper. And your spelling with like your spelling and grammar are atrocious. Sorry, America. Sorry. Like I was a reader.
That song turned out to be correct, right?
I feel bad in a way, but it's like people actively chose to not read. People actively chose to not educate themselves. And then they wonder why I scoff and laugh when they're misspelling basic shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry if your parents never told you were wrong, but like, you're in your 30s now and I'm in my 40s and you can't spell basic shit properly and you have like no grammar or punctuation. So it's like, how serious am I going to take you here? How serious am I going to take you here? You know what I mean? Like
here's my thing. There is a time and a place for fucking acronyms, and the younger generation uses acronyms and fucking everything.
For everything. So they don't even know how to spell the words in between. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I like some of the speed and the ease of use of mass communication and like the way we have things, but the foundation has got to be laid first. There has to be a foundation there of like actual literacy.
Now, if you can't spell every word in Bohica, you have a fucking problem.
You'd be surprised how many people will probably fuck that up too.
So before we get into, because we have some things in sports to talk about. How was your Easter, guys?
Mine was okay. So obviously, I'm sure this comes as like a great surprise to approximately 0% of anyone, but we're not exactly a family of believers. But we do still celebrate a lot of the cultural holidays and federal holidays here, and we have as is tradition, like most of our family are believers and they celebrate Easter. We went bowling. Me and my girls we went bowling and we had snacks at the bowling alley, and then we got invited to a cousin's house for Easter dinner. So we had Easter dinner with some cousins, and that was very pleasant, and we had a good time, and it was basically about as wholesome of an Easter as we could have. The girls got some Easter candy, and I got them. You want to know what I got my girls? It's kind of funny. We were just talking about that. Holy shit! I totally did not plan that, by the way. Well, I got both of my girls. the Easter Bunny brought my daughters both a book this year. So that's what they got in their Easter basket was a book. And they seemed to enjoy it. And we went bowling. We had a good time. We had Easter dinner with our family. So it was about as wholesome as it's going to get in Clan Campbell. You know what I'm saying? So
I love it.
We had a good one. Joe, how was yours, man? I'll be right back. I gotta find my tobacco.
I mean, we went to the in-laws that afternoon, just hung around there. We still, even though we're all fucking adults, her mom and dad get us all fucking Easter baskets. Usually it's like some candy and shit, like my favorite fucking Easter candy, Peeps. Fight me about it. I don't care. These fucking sugar-coated marshmallows are fucking delicious.
No, dude, I'm with you there. I get them regularly.
No, Joe, you're totally right. Peeps are fucking amazing. Peeps are amazing. All three of us can agree. Peeps are fucking awesome.
I actually bought these children of the 80s. I bought myself.
We're children of the 80s and 90s. Okay, like we got that shit. We got that shit shoved down our throats, dude. Like,
we all get an Easter basket. Usually it's practical shit like deodorant, body wash, stuff like that. Stuff that we're fucking adults. Like, I don't need a whole bunch of random shit. Get me, a little bit of candy because I do like having a little something sweet every once in a while, and then socks and deodorant. Like, I'm at that point in my life where, as a kid, I always hated getting fucking socks and underwear as gifts. Now it's like the only time I ever replace my socks or underwear is if I get it as a gift.
You got to work on that one. Although I will say this, it never ceases to amaze me. I've been wearing black socks for so long. Mm-hmm. I've got like 15 different kinds of black socks, and I can still like have trouble matching pairs. So I'll have like an entire pile of black socks in front of me and not a single matching pair. And I'm just like, how in the fuck is this possible? Like, they're all black. All of them are black.
I feel your pain. I'm a sock connoisseur.
Dude, but I mean,
I'm gonna have to re-up on my supply soon. Like,
did that they do, they do an adult Easter egg hunt for us, and usually it's dollar scratchers in the fucking eggs instead of anything else.
Fun, so that sounds wholesome. Yeah. That sounds fun. Yeah. That sounds.
Yeah, I mean, it's
spring. It's
a nice little thing for us all to fucking get together, spend time. We're doing that. Then we just cook hamburgers and hot dogs on the fucking grill, and that's about it. I mean, we were throughout the day. We were watching the fucking NCAA fucking men's basketball tournament, the games last weekend.
Yeah, Arizona dropping out in the Sweet 16. I was mad. I saw it coming.
So I went to NC State. I got my degree from State. I'm a UNC fan. UNC got fucking knocked out in the Sweet 16. State went on to the Final Four, and then Purdue knocked State out yesterday.
Yeah, and the ladies lost too, which I was kind of. Yep. I actually watched the ladies games. Last night, actually.
And then, but I mean, that's kind of what we do. And then towards the end, right as it was starting to get later, we put on the fucking NASCAR race last Sunday and fucking watched that for a bit. Then fucking everybody parted ways, and back to fucking things as normal.
How was your Easter, John?
It was good. We had a birthday party, my son's 10th birthday. The Saturday before, so we had all the family there. We had a great time. It was a glow stick party, so there were a lot of glow sticks. And then my wife got these like foam batons with like really, really little lights in them. And apparently, you're supposed to beat each other with it. And it was silent at one moment, and then 2 minutes later, everyone in the house started beating each other with these batons. I went straight for the face for everybody. My kids, my little sister, my wife. I even got my mom.
Fucking no holds barred. John just fucking went complete fucking barbarian mode.
John's fucking no selling. He's no selling, dude. He's on it. Like,
I found a way to hit everybody in the face and not get in trouble for it because no one would get hurt, and I got away with it.
You know what, John? I can appreciate that kind of like that's dedication.
Yeah. And then Easter, we had a great Easter. Lots of chocolate, lots of food. My wife did such a good job. Very, very, very fun Easter weekend. And it's actually spring break for the kids too. They've been home all week having a good time.
I noticed that, like in different areas and different regions of the country, some kids are on spring break right now. Like whereas like my kids went to school all last week and they're going all this week basically, and they're like they got like a 4-day weekend for Easter. That's
yeah.
all
Down here this past week in my area was spring break also, so kids start going back to school tomorrow.
Right.
From spring break.
Right.
And then, but see, that's the thing. Like my state's really jacked up the way they do it because like it's by county. So like some counties did their spring break the week leading up to Easter. Some counties did it the week after. Some are doing it this coming up week.
Yep. Yeah. So they've been having a good time. My now 10-year-old son is taking advantage of spring break and understanding that he can just sleep whenever he wants to. So that's going to be a challenge to get him back on the schedule. But Easter was great. And the best thing about these past 2 weeks is that baseball is back, baby.
Oh, yes. Hell yes.
Baseball is back, and the Kansas City Royals have more wins than losses so far.
Dude, they like went over 500 yesterday or last night apparently, and I was like, "Oh, are we gonna try it? Are we gonna try this year?" Like, okay,
yeah. So their average is at 556 right now.
Yeah,
I mean, let's see what happens. And
yeah, they had it was an interesting week here in Kansas City with the Royals and stuff. But
well, let's talk about that real quick before I get to the Yankees.
Okay.
So
okay,
there's a fight happening.
Yeah,
a good old Kansas City street fight. All right. Now
that's what we're calling it.
Now
it's kind of devolved in like it.
It's interesting because being in Kansas City and seeing the Kauffman Stadium, being able to experience a game there and watching a team, my favorite team, win at a historical stadium. And the stadium is in perfect condition. It fits a lot of people.
Oh yeah,
it's taken care of. So that's what I have to say about that. So go ahead, Jace.
Well, it just there's a I don't want to call he's not a new owner, but he's a newer owner after, he's a majority stakeholder basically. And his name is John Sherman. And he has this idea that Kansas City needs a downtown stadium. I'm not necessarily saying a downtown stadium couldn't work in Kansas City. Okay. My main thing with that is if they were going to do that, they should have done it about 15 years ago. And before we got the All-Star game in 2012 because we refurbished the stadium. That's what we are already paying taxes on this stadium for the next I don't know how many more years. We're already spending a 3/8% sales tax basically, paying for the renovations of Kauffman Stadium and Arrowhead at the sporting complex in Jackson County, Missouri, which is Kansas City, directly adjacent to Independence, where I live, and Raytown on the other side. So you basically have a confluence of three communities, and then Jackson County itself, it goes farther east. It goes way out east, past the metro, basically. So there's other people that still live in the county that are paying this tax. No other counties surrounding Jackson County are paying any taxes for the stadiums. None. Okay, so that's one kind of weird thing about this that a lot of people don't seem to understand. There's only one county out of the Kansas City metro when there's 8 other counties surrounding it, that only this one county is doing this, right? So this Yahoo wants to freaking build a stadium downtown, and they wanted to pass another sales tax for the next 40 years. 40. Okay, to basically have the taxpayers assist getting a stadium downtown. Well, the people of Jackson County, Missouri, myself included, threw up a big middle finger to that, from the beginning, and the vote was very decisively no on that sales tax. In the last couple of days since the no vote occurred, this was on Tuesday, today being Sunday. So within the last 3 or 4 days, everyone's claws started coming out. And when I say everyone's, I'm talking about nasty billionaires and their wives who like to go in public and shame people for basically like having a say in things, like in the democratic way, like when you vote on stuff. And when I say that was decisive, it was like decisive. We're talking like it was like 58 to 41, 59 to 40. Like it wasn't even close. For every 2 votes that yes got, the no votes got 3. That's about as decisive as you can get. They had guys from the Chiefs, guys from the Royals on local TV in commercials telling everybody to vote yes. You know what I mean? And it still got fucking trounced. They're parading Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey and Salvi from the Royals on fucking TV telling everybody to vote yes. And Jackson County still said, no, fuck you. Fuck you. First off, we don't need a fucking another stadium because we already got one. Second off, dude, we're not paying for it. You're a fucking billionaire. You
pay for it.
You fucking pay for it, ass fuck. You fucking pay for it. His wife came out 2 days ago and said that the Chiefs and the fucking Royals are no longer going to deal with Jackson County. And it's like you stupid bitch. Like you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. You stupid bitch. I don't care if you're the wife of the dude that team where I do security. I don't give a fuck. That's how fucking out of touch they are. That's like literally how out of touch these billionaires are. Go fuck yourselves. I don't give a fuck.
So can I ask you? Can I ask you this?
Yourselves.
How new is Arrowhead Stadium?
It's about the same age as Kauffman. It was opened, I believe, the year before Kauffman was, though.
And is there anything wrong with Arrowhead Stadium?
No, since they did the remodeling, there's always going to be maintenance, and there's always going to have to be
absolutely
continual, especially as they age.
Mm-hmm.
There's still going to have to be continual maintenance. Obviously, the upgrades, Arrowhead, the owners of Arrowhead currently is the son of Lamar Hunt. He's kind of notoriously a cheapskate. So, could the locker room be redone? Could this or that be redone? Yes. Does it need it? 100% need it? No. Beautiful facility, beautiful everything. Like,
so
same with Kauffman. I've been in the guts. I've been inside the guts of both of them. Like, is there stuff that could be better? Is there stuff that could be updated, remodeled, repainted, whatever? Sure. But that's down in the fucking guts, though. What you see when you go on the concourses at either stadium, what you see, what you smell, what you experience if you go to either game, a football game or a fucking baseball game, or this coming Saturday, guys, I'm going to be working a soccer game. I'll tell you guys about that next week. There's going to be a soccer game at Arrowhead, so I'll tell you about that one after I do that shit. But what I'm saying is you're not going to see any of that stuff as a casual fan. I only see some of it because I'm down in the guts. But we're talking like they don't need a new fucking stadium. Neither team needs a new stadium. That's what the old tax was for. And I didn't live here when that tax was passed. That's how we got the All-Star game in 2012 at the K. That's how we got the All-Star game. And that's how the Arrowhead got upgraded facilities that continue to freaking stand to this day. And we're still paying. Yeah. We are still paying that tax, by the way. This vote was to extend that same tax for another fucking 40 years with no plan in sight of like where they want to build a stadium or like what's going to happen to the sporting complex if they take Kauffman out of it. Like if they take the baseball stadium, there was no plans in place.
Yeah. So
not stupid.
I also want to ask this. So for those who don't know, Kauffman Stadium and Arrowhead are right next to each other. Mm-hmm. So what kind of inconvenience can this build if both of the stadiums are separated?
I think the Royals would lose. A lot of people come from out of state. We are directly adjacent to Kansas, and we are less than 2 hours. We are less than 2 hours south of
Oklahoma,
of Iowa, and by proxy, Nebraska. Illinois is like 3 hours away. Arkansas is like fucking 2.5, 3 hours away. Oklahoma is only fucking 4.5, 5 hours away. People come from fucking a long ways away. These stadiums sit right at the junction of two major interstates,
Yes,
I-70 and I-435, the loop. They're already in a perfect spot. The city planners in the 1960s put these stadiums where they are for a reason. And that's because they knew the metro area was going to grow around the stadiums. And guess what? It fucking did. They were right. They were 110% fucking right. If you put a stadium downtown, I think you're going to see less people coming from out of state. Nobody wants to drive downtown. Nobody wants to fuck with downtown. People don't want to fucking have their kids walking around downtown, especially at night. You know what I mean? It's not that downtown is that bad. That is not the argument here. It's just a pain in the dick.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the dick. St. Louis has a downtown stadium. Relatively new. It's a pain in the dick. I've been there. It's a great stadium. It's beautiful. When you're inside the park, it's a beautiful view of the skyline and the fucking arch. Fucking props on that. They did a good job there. Getting in and out of that bitch is a pain in the dick. Okay, that's the problem. And they're basically trying to shove that into Kansas City, where it's like everyone in Kansas City is like, are you guys fucking high? We don't fucking need that shit. We already have two good stadiums, like right there. And if the Chiefs want to like pick up and move to the Kansas side, the Chiefs would fucking lose business. Because there's a lot of people that don't want to go on the Kansas side to watch a fucking football game.
Yeah.
By the way, marijuana is fucking still illegal in Kansas. Yeah, so we'll see. Like there's a lot of things that like it's basically billionaire boneheads being billionaire boneheads. You know, like it's just billionaires being fucking dumbasses.
Yeah,
making dumbass decisions. Have I ever told you guys about like my experiences? You know, my anecdotal experience in life is that rich people actually have like the worst taste. I believe that they usually have the worst taste. This is in my opinion, by the way, based on my own anecdotal experiences. Rich people tend to have like the worst taste and have a lot less class than a lot of the people, us regular fucking folks here below the clouds, you know, tend to have.
They like caviar and spend $3,000 on one T-shirt. I'm good.
Caviar tastes like shit. Okay, it's like fish shit, except they're fish eggs. Okay, but ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
So while talking to baseball, the Atlanta Braves right now are leading the National League with a 5-2 score, and the New York Yankees are leading the American League with 7-2, with Boston Red Sox trailing right behind them. New York Yankees are looking good. I mean, but this is what it always looks like for the New York Yankees. We look good in the beginning, and then we start slacking halfway through. So we're gonna see what happens in the next couple weeks, the next couple months. But we're on top right now, and over here in the tri-state area and us Yankee fans, we're just super excited. So
I think it's going to be a good year of baseball. I'm actually kind of excited for the Royals. They got a little bit of pitching behind them this year, and they signed Bobby Witt to basically like a career contract. So Bobby Witt Jr. ain't fucking going anywhere anytime soon. So we're 5-4, and after 9 games, we'd be like 2-7. So I'll take some where I can get some.
Hell yeah. And then we have WrestleMania.
I wanted to hear about this. You guys are kind of enticing me a little bit to watch night 2 tonight. And tell me about last night and what you guys thought about how they put on what is now night 1 of WrestleMania. It used to just be a one-night event. Now it's night 1 of WrestleMania. Tell me what you guys thought, please.
So I didn't get to watch, I think, the first 2 matches, which was the women's title and a ladder match for the Raw and the SmackDown tag team title.
So good.
I did watch the recaps for those matches. Those matches looked like they were really good. I'll probably just pull it back up on Peacock because I can go back and rewatch it today. Last night's night 1 I can watch today, so that way I can see those first 2 matches. I got home right as the Dominic and Rey Mysterio, that tag team match was fucking ending.
Yeah, with Andrade Almas and oh my god, who I forgot.
Who was
Is it Santos Escobar?
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah,
Andrade.
Santos Escobar.
Yeah. And so I turned it on right as it was ending. So what I saw was Dom outside the fucking ring with a steel chair, and then boom, two huge motherfuckers in Philadelphia Eagle colored lucha masks.
That was so ridiculous.
And fucking take the damn chair from Dom, fucking hit him with it, and then throw his ass in the fucking ring and help Rey and Andrade win the fucking match. And then the second the match is over, you watch one of these two giant motherfuckers jump over the top rope in work boots and jeans, which that's a feat in its fucking self. And the other one just goes between the ropes. And then they take off their fucking masks. And it's none other than Jason Kelsey and another former Philadelphia Eagle.
Who's the other guy?
Something Lane.
Well, that had to get a good pop from the fucking crowd then, being the Philly.
Oh, it did. I mean,
they were going crazy.
The thing is, it's when we're looking at it from a perspective of Philly loves fucking Jason Kelsey. Like, they love fucking Kelsey with a passion, just like fucking Casey loves fucking Kelsey and
Kansas City loves Jason Kelsey by virtue of him being fucking
related to Travis.
Yeah, fucking Travis's brother. Fucking like that. Like there's a little like
so there's a little
bit of love hate because of the Super Bowl, but the Kelsey brothers are like universally beloved in both.
They're fucking the golden children of fucking KC and fucking Philly.
And and Mama Kelsey fucking brings us all together. So I mean that's let's be real.
And, there was a huge fucking pop. I was like, holy fuck. Like when I saw him, like I saw fucking Jason's beard and I was like, that's gotta be fucking Kelsey. Like that was my first thought, especially when we look at the fucking Kelsey and the Lucha mask after the Chiefs took the Super Bowl. Like I was like, that's fucking Kelsey. There's no way that's not fucking Jason. And then they take the masks off and I'm like, holy fuck. Like that's a guest appearance right there. That match was good.
That was fun. They were all to put it like in a sense of it, they all were really good. And like Triple H came out first thing as the show started, and he immediately like wasted no time to say that this is a whole new era. And if you've been following the news, you know what's going on. This is the first WrestleMania without
Vince.
So the energy was different. The match quality was different. There was a sense of a lot of diversity, and probably more diverse. They've been getting more diverse with their wrestlers and their content within the last couple of years. But this one, especially like the lucha match, that there was just a sense of like seeing like old school AAA Mexican lucha libre wrestling in there, and it was super special. For me, my favorite match was the tag ladder match. I love ladder matches in general. That to me they're
fun to watch.
Yeah,
they're fun. I don't know about doing it. But they're fun to watch.
I'm not sure if you watched the press conference after, John, but
I did.
Ended up, it ended. We came upstairs to go to bed, so I put the press conference on in the bedroom. As the missus was fucking falling asleep, I was watching it. And funny enough, so Finn Balor and Damian Priest, who are two of the members of the Judgment Day with Rhea Ripley, Dominic Mysterio, then it's Finn Balor and Damian Priest. Finn Balor is scared of fucking heights, and he was in this fucking 6-team fucking ladder match. So like he was like, I'm not going up on the fucking ladder. If we win the title, fucking Priest had to go up on the fucking ladder to get the belt.
Did you notice that there was a moment that they were screaming at Damian Priest to get off the ladder because the ladder was falling apart? Like it was like a safety issue, and they were telling him that they were like, get off. And a huge shout out to Damian Priest, who made his career in my area. He used to be called Punishment Martinez, Um, yeah, it's such a cool name, so such an old school name too. But you know,
that totally throws like early wrestling fucking vibes right
yeah,
there.
and like my wife and I, we saw him in New York a couple years ago when you know he was just an indie wrestler, but it's cool to see where he's at now. But there were such great spots. R-Truth is one of my favorite wrestlers, and there was a moment where he was in the corner of the ring trying to get a tag in from the Miz in a ladder match. And you know the rules of a ladder match: you don't tag in, you just go in and fight. And I must be getting soft in my old age
Are you
because
talking about when he tried to fucking win by pinfall?
right
And it's like,
before that,
motherfucker, you're in a damn ladder match. We don't do pinfalls.
yeah,
Get up
so
the ladder, grab the fucking belts, and then boom.
yeah, it was just so funny, just like his comical relief trying to get tagged in. And again, I must be getting soft in my old age because I can't stand the Miz, but even I was like kind of rooting for the Miz to kind of like tag in R-Truth. I'm like, come on, man, just just tag him in. And then that moment when he pinned him, the Miz was just like, what are you doing? You don't pin, you have to climb up the ladder. He was like, oh, okay. That's right. And
Well,
go ahead.
and you mentioned indie wrestling. Like, R-Truth is from my area. He's from North Carolina, Charlotte area, about an hour from me, hour and 15, something like that. And I remember R-Truth from back when he was on indie circuits in fucking North Carolina, when he was on the indie circuits here in the South.
Yep.
And
Former NWA world champion as well.
mhm. I mean, he's been there for fucking a hot minute. Like, outside of The Rock coming back, he's probably one of the oldest wrestlers still on the fucking active roster.
Yeah, that take away from any other matches. Look, except the Uso match, I was kind of displeased with how that match went. It was kind of
It was lackluster.
I felt like if you have two brothers who have a history with each other, their whole lives, okay, two twin brothers who are fighting, I was expecting Owen Hart versus Bret Hart. And we didn't get Owen Hart versus Bret Hart.
Well, I mean, also the Usos aren't Owen Hart and Bret Hart either, so
That's true. But if you're gonna throw an Easter egg, because one thing they kept on mentioning was that at WrestleMania 10, the Hearts fought, and it just that Uso match with the story that they gave us, it just wasn't.
If you're talking about getting like a pop from the crowd, and two brothers, right? Fought, like,
Twins
going head to head, right? That reminds me
Ricky, they're to put into perspective, Jay, they are Rikishi's sons.
Yeah. So I remember back in the day, I don't remember which one it was, one of the early Royal Rumbles. Numbers 1 and 2 was fucking Axe and Smash from Demolition.
Ah.
And when they fucking both got in the ring, they just kind of like stared at each other. And like the crowd was like, oh God, what are they gonna do? And then they just fucking started attacking each other. Just a good old no sell, just beating the shit out of each other. Got such a huge pop from the crowd because it's like, yeah, we're tag team partners, but
we want
this. This is the Royal Rumble, so like, fuck you too, dude. And it's like, and it got such a good pop from the crowd. And like, what I'm hearing from you is they should have had a better match. So they whatever they did with the match, I didn't see it, but it sounds very. It should have been more of like a brawl versus like what did they try to make it technical? Like what did they do?
It was perfect because it was like two brothers fighting in a playground. That's what I could compare it to.
And it's one of those situations. They're twins. They used to be tag team partners for years. There's now been this big mix up because, the bloodline,
there's already a storyline there.
Yeah. So there's a whole fucking storyline there. And it's like, why the fuck isn't this match phenomenal? Like at this point, this is I would expect this to be the match that ended that fucking storyline, made it phenomenal. One wins, and then the end of it, they fucking, make up, they get back to fucking normal, and they're done with the fucking storyline type of situation, moving into the next chapter. We didn't fucking get that.
Yeah.
And with the other problem is they used the fact that they were twins too much in that match because they just kept going fucking back and forth, blow for blow, landing the same fucking maneuvers on each other,
talking shit to each other.
talking shit to each other. At one point, Jimmy's down. Jay goes to fucking do a move, and Jimmy's like, no, 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 no. And then Jay stops, and then Jimmy's like, I'm sorry, playing it off like he's fucking gonna apologize to him, tricking him into some bullshit. It was not. It was lackluster to say the fucking least.
I think they should have, if they'd gone at each other like wild dogs, you know what I mean? Like that would have been a better match.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like where they like just beat the shit out of each other and have like a moment after whenever the bell, after the match is over, however it goes.
There was no moment.
Beat the shit out of each other and then have a moment together. But that doesn't what you guys are describing does not sell me very well either. That's not selling me.
So there was also Sami Zayn and Gunther, which was fun. You know, they beat the shit out of each other. That was cool.
They really fucking did. Oh,
they just
beat the ever living shit out of each other. And you know, looking at it from an underdog perspective for Sami Zayn, I would actually like the outcome of that match and the way they fucking, the fucking whoever fucking writes the scripts for this shit fucking wrote that one out to fucking have the underdog come in and take the title because it was for the world championship,
the intercontinental. Which the story with this is that the man Gunther, he calls himself the ring general, but he is the longest reigning intercontinental champion. So that's why there was so much
until the belt got taken from him last night. 666 days.
Oh shit!
Intercontinental champion.
Nice.
Gunther was
nice.
For 600.
So they ended up having a reign end on 666.
And there's gonna be a solar eclipse tomorrow too.
Yeah. So
and
that
John apparently hopes we get superpowers.
Yes. So before we get to the main event, because we were talking about the Rock's power, but the Hall of Fame was good. But I want to talk about Paul Heyman because it was in Philadelphia. Paul Heyman is in the Hall of Fame, right? But I'm not going to talk about that whole thing. I'm just congratulations, great stuff. I grew up watching Paul Heyman.
So did I. And back when he was like Paulie Dangerously, and
and so his disruption.
He had a ponytail and wore a hat.
And he wore the hat. He wore the hat and the jacket during the Hall of Fame, which was cool. But another thing happened during the Hall of Fame, and they were honoring Muhammad Ali, right? And all of a sudden, I believe that was Muhammad Ali's wife.
It was his wife, yeah.
Yeah, she presented The Rock to The Rock during Muhammad Ali's Hall of Fame induction, an award called the People's Champ to The Rock.
And the People's Championship.
A belt that was made, and you know this, Squilini, this belt was made about 20 or 30 years ago during the Attitude Era. And it was just like, I kind of felt like, and we're going to talk about it now, I felt like there was a little power trip there. And that happened because it kind of, for me, it took away Muhammad Ali's induction, like that moment, all because The Rock wanted to use a name that Muhammad Ali used. And I kind of felt like that he took away from Muhammad Ali's moment. And then he came out again at the end of the night where people were booing him and he was talking about the Hall of Fame and they were booing him and he kind of cut a promo during the Hall of Fame. And I didn't feel like that was the right place and time. So now cutting over to last night's main event, which was The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins.
The champ and the final boss.
Yeah, and I just want to make a joke, Squilini. Isn't it funny how The Rock finished his story before Cody did?
I'm sorry, fucking love The Rock back in the day. I do like what they did with this new story of bringing him back in after he became a member of the board of the board of TKO. And he's kind of turned heel because if we look back to the old Rock, he was more a baby face. He wasn't really a baby face, but he wasn't really heel at that time.
And when he would do heel shit, it was great.
Yeah, and now they brought him back as like full heel, and it's like, what the fuck?
Well, who's going to replace McMahon as like the fucking company heel?
He's the best person. He's the best person to do
that's
it.
a big fucking, like, you know what? Like nobody wants to, it's like the elephant in the room. Nobody wants to acknowledge it, but it has to be acknowledged. Like McMahon made himself such a fucking part of like the WWE machine.
Yeah.
That regardless of the circumstances of him vacating, that's a big hole to fill. Yeah. So not only do you need stuff going on behind the scenes, you need fucking stuff happening like on screen and in the ring.
Yeah.
And like, and his character, the Mr. McMahon character, you know, that's a big, because, and like none of that existed before the Attitude Era. That was not, he could have gotten in trouble. He could have gotten in trouble in the 90s and left, and we would have never known. We would have never known. But starting in the Attitude Era, starting the Attitude Era and moving forward, he became such a vital part, both behind the scenes and on screen, that it's almost impossible to he made it almost impossible to fill his own fucking shoes.
Yeah.
And so that's why, like you said, John, like Triple H had to come out and was like, hey, yeah, we're in a new era now. And then you got The Rock just pissing people the fuck off, probably on purpose, because that's what they do.
That's what he confirmed that. He confirmed that. Like because it works.
Doing shit he wants, like he wants to piss people off right now. He wants you want the heat. You want people to have somebody to that's the whole point. That's the whole point of kayfabe. That is the whole point of kayfabe, is to make people believe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
this tag team match, the whole premise was, Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. Cody Rhodes they're trying to end his story. Like it's supposed to be the final chapter to his story. He gets his big break. That's what they've kind of set up for, is that's what the end of his story is supposed to be. The Rock comes in, tries to take WrestleMania from him, doesn't get that opportunity. This match was supposed to set up for tonight for one of two outcomes with the Cody Rhodes versus Reigns match for the Universal Championship, which is if Reigns and Rollins won last night, the Bloodline, which is The Rock, Solo Sikoa, Jimmy Uso, none of them were allowed ringside during the match tonight. If Rock and Reigns won, then it was Bloodline rules, which pretty much is like just a fucking street fight. It's going to be an all-out brawl, no DQs, something along those lines.
It's going to be a 5-on-1.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, we're going to find out tonight, huh? You guys are kind of making me excited.
So I do agree with everything that Squilini was saying. The Rock is showing a strong power trip with this, but I also want to agree with Jay too. It's kind of needed at the same time. We need a mega villain right now. Triple H
storyline.
And what I loved about yesterday's match is that the it was just. I mean, there was one moment where Cody Rhodes came in and slapped the shit out of The Rock. He slapped him right in the face, and that's just
the third fucking slap that's happened since the road to WrestleMania fucking 2 months ago. Because when they did the big press conference 2 months ago, and Cody Rhodes comes out, and Reigns and The Rock are talking about the bloodline and their fucking family tree and all that shit, and they're like, at WrestleMania 40, The Rock versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship.
That was the original plan.
Interrupt and make some comments about fucking The Rock and the Reigns fucking families, and is like, if your grandfather and your grandfather were here, they'd be freaking they'd be disappointed in ashamed in y'all. And then The Rock fucking slapped Cody, and then there was been a couple other slaps from Cody and The Rock to each other since then.
And a belt lashing before WrestleMania too. The Rock was whipping, like straight whipping Cody and Seth with that weight belt. Like, it was kind of funny. And the one belt whip that happened towards the end of the match was so damn loud when you heard it. And it was like, oh my God, it was incredible. But one thing that was so cool to me is just like, I have always been a Rock fan growing up. And I remember during the middle of the match, I was looking at my wife and I was just like, I just want to see a people's elbow and a rock bottom connect. That's all I want to see. I don't care if, that's how the match, if Cody wins or loses,
that was exactly how the fucking match ended.
Yeah, but Cody did a really cool rock bottom on the announce tables. He leapt from like one table over to the other, and that was pretty cool.
He went from the Spanish announce table to the fucking English announce table. So the Rock had cleared off one announce table. Cody had already cleared off the other. The Rock was going to rock bottom Cody on a fucking announce table. Cody fucking countered and fucking rock bottomed fucking Rock onto the other one.
Yeah,
with
and then
like a fucking good 2-3 foot gap between the two announce tables.
And then the performance review. During the match, the referee everyone was outside of the ring. Everyone was outside of the ring, and the ref was counting the 1, the 2, and The Rock was just like, we're not fucking doing countouts. If you count, you're fired. And the first thing my wife was like, why is he doing a performance review? And in my head, I'm like, oh man, this dude's gonna catch a case from a fucking live TV segment. He's gonna get in so much trouble. But Squilini, talk about the spitting when they were all spitting at each other.
So Prime Hydration, which is Logan Paul and KSI's company, they're official sponsors in the WWE now, with Logan Paul being there. So they had a Prime Hydration station outside of the ring
so
with a whole shit ton of fucking bottles of fucking Prime on it. And fucking Rollins fucking puts Rock through the fucking hydration station. Bottles get fucking spilled everywhere. Rollins picks up one of the fucking bottles, cracks the lid, chugs down some, and then holds some in his mouth and spits it in fucking The Rock's face. The Rock finds a fucking random water bottle while they're out in the fucking damn stadium fighting. Fucking starts pouring water in his mouth and then spits that. And like, they were going back and forth fucking spitting liquid in each other's fucking faces.
Now, let's put something into perspective. It was 39 degrees last night in Philadelphia, and they're spitting cold-ass drinks onto each other.
I mean, as long as you're worked up, I mean, that's usually like when you're busy, you're moving, you're sweating. You'd be surprised. 39 degrees might not be so bad.
But see, that's still not my favorite part. My favorite part was the fucking spear. So they set everything up for fucking Reigns to spear Rhodes at one point. And The Rock's right behind fucking Rhodes. Rollins is nowhere to be seen. And then all of a sudden, Reigns goes for the fucking spear. Rollins out of nowhere fucking sideswipes fucking Rhodes out of the way. Reigns fucking slams into the fucking Rock with this spear. And The Rock fucking oversold that shit like a motherfucker.
He looked like you ever beat up your cousin in the playground and they get like really fucked up? Like you didn't mean to hurt them that hard, but like they ended up getting really fucked up from it. That was how The Rock looked. He had his veins popping out of his neck, and he looked like he was sobbing, crying. And like the sell to make Roman Reigns look so strong. Great sell, hilarious moment, but The Rock looked like he just got beat up by his little cousin, and he was just like like his whole world was just shattered from it.
Hold on, I've got a picture of it.
Yeah.
What's the main event going to be tonight?
It's going to be
Rhodes versus Reigns for the Universal Championship.
And then what other matches do we have?
I got you right now. Yeah, look at that picture.
Oh my God. He's just hurting. Just hurting.
You know what's funny too about The Rock? He's got this big top on him. He's got like this big football wide upper body, and then he's got these like little
motherfucker skipped leg day.
Yeah, he's got these little legs. But Squilini, the motherfucker took a lot of bumps. The Rock got his ass kicked. For as old as he is, not being in the ring for 11 years, being able to accomplish what he did last night, and then still do the press conference, not looking like he even stepped foot in the office. That's incredible.
Well, he is a professional. I would expect nothing less from him.
Yeah. So night 2 is going to be the Pride versus the Final Testament, which is the Authors of Pain and Karrion Kross versus the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley been around for a while. The Authors of Pain are super crazy and destructive. The match after that's going to be LA Knight versus AJ Styles. That's is going to be predicted to be the sleeper match of the night. The one after that's going to be Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton for the United States Championship. That's going to be, that should be fun because you have Logan Paul, you have Kevin Owens, who's this like brute force, and then Randy Orton, who's a ring veteran. WWE Women's Championship, Io Sky versus Bayley. World Heavyweight Championship, Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship. And then the main event is Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Championship, which they need to just get rid of that title already and just they're just adding more words to it. But it should, I mean, it's going to be after night one, you have to do something amazing. There was usually at WrestleManias we expect a new sign in to happen, like a new wrestler that everyone's hyped up about to show up. That didn't happen last night. It could happen tonight. The Undertaker's not around anymore, so we're not going to have an Undertaker match. Bray Wyatt is gone, so we're not going to have anything special with him unless his brother decides to come out with the new gimmick that they've been teasing. But there's a lot of stuff going on. And during the press and I just want to say, Squilini, how did you feel about the amount of ads all over the arena? Was it distracting to you?
It was at times. Because it was like every time they would fucking pan the camera somewhere different, it was a different fucking ad for some different fucking advertiser.
Minute Maid, Snickers. Sponsor. It was pretty bad.
I mean, there was Snickers, Minute Maid, Prime, the fucking ring mat had a giant fucking Prime logo in the middle of the motherfucker.
Yeah, it was very distracting because I just felt like, the ads are kind of taken away because it's covering up the screen. It's huge. It's really like, what are we doing here? So that was kind of distracting, but it's going to be a lot to top night one.
Yeah, because I mean, tonight we have, let's see, tonight there's Kevin Owens, Logan Paul, and Randy Orton.
That's probably for you guys. That one and the AJ Styles and LA Knight match is probably going to be the best one, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, the story they've gone with leading up to the LA Knight AJ Styles match is going to really it's all culminating to this because it was a couple weeks ago. Fucking, they did a spot where fucking Knight showed up at fucking Styles' house, and then LA Knight got arrested.
That's right. Yeah.
So,
what time does it start?
What, like 7?
5 o'clock. Well, 5 o'clock is pre-show, and then 7 o'clock is main show.
5 o'clock Eastern?
Yeah. So it's supposed to be a 6-hour show.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus is right. That's why I'm like playing video games or fucking watching a movie. Because not all the look, I'm not trying to take away from some of the spectacular matches that happened. And again, there was a lot of diversity that went down, which I mean, I couldn't be more proud to see. There were so many different cultures in this first night, and I want to see more of that.
That's cool.
It was one of the coolest things. And it wasn't like, how like when they do things like this, they kind of push that political agenda, like, oh yeah, we're here, this is there wasn't a sense of that. It was a sense of pride, like, we did this, we're here now, and that's what it just felt so different because a lot of that stuff that happened last night would never happen on the Vince McMahon WWE era.
I'm just interested. I think the big thing I'm looking forward to is the main event tonight with Rhodes versus Reigns with the Bloodline Rules match. Because during the Rock's part of his press conference, at one point they asked him, is there any surprises we can expect during this Bloodline Rules match tonight?
That's mild.
And he just straight out to the fucking reporter said yes. He said, I can't tell you what. All I can say is yes. So we have no clue who else from the bloodline, from the fucking family tree might show up. I mean, they've got, so much lineage in the fucking, bloodline family tree, starting from the beginning, from, Reigns and Rock's fucking grandfathers in wrestling all the way till now. Obviously, some of the family members are no longer around. There's still, cousins and shit that might be wrestling. Hell, we might get a fucking appearance from Rikishi tonight.
I'm pretty sure that there's one in AEW that's in the family too. Like I'm almost certain that there's one in AEW that's in the family. But my big prediction, I think we're going to get, if you're familiar with them, I think we're going to get Maxwell Jacob Freeman.
That I'm interested to see if, like, let's just speculate here for a second. So Bloodline rules. Jimmy and Jay had their fight last night. Obviously, Jimmy's still part of the Bloodline. Jay is no longer part of the Bloodline. Wouldn't it be hilarious if Jay comes out to start helping Cody?
Well, weren't they a tag team champions at one point?
Jay and Cody?
Yeah, they were, right?
Yeah, it was
very short, but
late last year. It was a very short run. Him and Cody. I think it was like SummerSlam.
That's when they had that fucking promo where they were sloshed during the press conference.
Yeah, because they won the championship. They went back to their fucking trailers, started drinking. Because Cody's got like a sponsorship from a fucking alcohol company of some sort. I think
was it that new whiskey that they were promoting yesterday that they were just like, why does Russian always needs to have the white Russian or something like that?
Yeah, something of that nature. But yeah, no, they came out after the whole fucking, show was over during the press conference. Jay and fucking Cody come out and they're fucking sloshed after taking the fucking tag team championship. Like, just
I was actually gonna ask, like, who in the bloodline like might fucking like
betray them.
Yeah. Like,
but that's the other thing. What if Jimmy ends up betraying him now that him and Jay had finalized their story, and now fucking, we don't know. They might use tonight as a way for Jimmy and Jay to come back full circle, reform their tag team, reform their partnership, and Jimmy's out there with the bloodline to help them, and then all of a sudden Jimmy starts fucking throwing down with fucking Solo and The Rock.
I want to throw in, I'm going to throw my hat in this, and I'm just going to say that I just want to see The Rock double down and just really just betray everybody tonight. I just want to see him just by fuck this.
That would be interesting too, especially because, Reigns fucking speared The Rock last night. What if The Rock decides to take it personally and fucking just lay Reigns out?
They showed that tension during the end of the match too. Like there was a moment where Reigns didn't want to tag The Rock in for that good 5 seconds, and he was just like, "Go ahead." But hey, I mean, I super excited. I have to say, if this is what wrestling is going to look like, I just might start watching. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and watch Raw and SmackDown every fucking week. That's not. I don't have time for that. But I could definitely be watching some pay-per-views and see what's going to happen next, because it seems like you got two guys. You have The Rock and you have Triple H. Two guys and then you have Shawn Michaels over in NXT. You have Road Dogg. It's all these Attitude Era guys who are shaping the mold for hopefully what we're going to see. It's almost like
we're leading up to like Attitude Era 2.0.
Yeah. And The Rock called it the "fuck that" era, by the way. He said that in a couple. I'm pretty sure that's not an official name for the era, but
I wouldn't be mad if it is.
Me neither.
I like dropping the F-bomb every once in a while.
That's basically what that era kind of amounted to. It was like we're getting over no matter what.
Yeah,
like we're getting over no matter what.
And what The Rock said, and what The Rock and Triple H said about this is just like, there were a lot of things that people want to see, and there were things that people didn't want to see, and that's why last night's main event happened, because no one, and this, if you saw the press conference, this too, Squilini, that The Rock said no one wanted to see The Rock versus Roman Reigns, and that they listened to the people about that. Mm-hmm. And they actually listened, and they were just like, this isn't what they want. So let's give them something different. Let's pivot.
Yeah, I feel like The Rock let out a lot more information than he probably was supposed to during that press conference.
I think he spoiled tonight's ending too, by the way. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm. You think so?
Because he had
Because-
mentioned something last night where he said something about Cody finishing his story, and then he had stopped, and then you could see his body movement after, and it
he
was
said
awkward.
and then he kind of had that, oh fuck, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what would that mean for Cody? Would he lose tonight?
That would mean Cody defeats fucking Reigns and takes the championship.
Yeah, but if it was a blunder that The Rock made by mistake, then that means it could probably be reversed. But that was a Vince McMahon era thing. You know, that was what they used to do in the Vince McMahon era. There were people
still to this day, I'll never forgive Vince McMahon for fucking letting fucking Brock Lesnar beat Undertaker at WrestleMania. That was the dumbest fucking shit of all time.
Yeah, and they said the only one who made sense beating Undertaker was Bray Wyatt, not even Brock Lesnar.
And that's what I'm saying. Like the whole, it was Vince McMahon was notorious for never letting wrestlers like go out on a high note.
Or win in their own hometowns.
It's that old school fucking, you go out on your shield and you pass the torch to the next guy. And that's that old school shit, which it worked for what it was at the time. It worked. That's that old school shit. We don't live in the fucking old school anymore, especially not in professional wrestling. You know what I mean? They don't even call it fucking wrestling anymore. It's entertainment, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, come on now. Like,
actually, someone said something about that yesterday during the Hall of Fame. I can't remember who. They were just like, oh, professional and then they looked at the camera, like looking into Vince's eyes, and they were just like professional wrestling. Right. And like it was kind of like when that moment, everything kind of like the energy shifted, and it was just like, oh wow, like this is real. Things are changing.
That's the Attitude Era is really what opened all the doors for that. That was the attitude. It was the Attitude Era that opened up. Okay, we're totally going to acknowledge that a lot of this stuff is kayfabe. We're totally going to acknowledge when we make mistakes and bad stuff happens. We have to start acknowledging stuff that's happening both in and outside the ring. You know what I mean? People started coming out with books like Mick Foley, and like we're just like, okay, we're acknowledging this is sports entertainment, okay. But like you're saying, there is a metric that you have to follow with that.
Yeah.
And part of that metric is it doesn't every story doesn't have to have a fucking happy ending.
No.
But that old school bullshit where no one gets a happy ending is fucking over. That shit's over. It's okay for some people to get happy endings sometimes. You know what I mean? And like that was that very old school, like you go out on your shield, you pass the torch, and then you can be done. You know what I mean?
Fuck yeah.
Doesn't sound like that's the era we're in right now. So we'll see how it goes down the line, I guess, starting tonight.
Absolutely. And speaking of shields, I just hope that you guys have yours on too. Okay. This is a perfect transition into the final thought. And guys, call it weird, do whatever it is, but there is science that proves that things that when the moon is in certain phases, it will directly affect your mood. These things have been talked about for many years. And I am a believer of this. I am a believer of, crystals having energy, space providing energy. I do believe in that. And with things, it's been a crazy couple of weeks. There have been disasters all over the world, like there have been for the last couple centuries
since humanity started.
Yeah, and it's just it's starting to become. I'm starting to realize more that it's becoming a more driving force for fear. And a lot of people don't know how to handle fear sometimes. I find myself in the moment during the earthquake where I didn't handle fear correctly. And that kind of brought me to an emotional state that I didn't want to be in. A lot of what ifs and a lot of things like that. Overthinking could put you in a pool of shit that you don't want to be rolling in. We do have an eclipse tomorrow. And I'm not saying that it's going to affect, I'm not trying to be, I know I said my superhero stuff, but there could be some emotional, physical things that happen to your body that you may not understand and emotionally might frustrate you. And, you don't have to, what happened?
It's just a shadow.
Yeah. Just, and I'm not specifically talking about the eclipse. I'm talking more about the moon. And I just think that people should kind of be a little more open and find other ways to understand their emotions. And one of those things is sitting down and, like Jace says, read. If you're in such a cloud and in such a emotional mess, read a book. Find the book that you feel that you could relate with, or play a video game. We always promote call somebody. If you don't want to call somebody, find yourself a, what's the word I'm looking for? A segue into a positive mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that it's easy. Rome wasn't built in a day. Legos don't take 5 minutes to build. Songs don't get written in 30 seconds. Things take time. Sometimes you need to give your brain time. Sometimes you need to give yourself time. I'm kind of sound like I'm going all over the place. I don't know. I just want to kind of just spread the message. Just love yourself. Be happy with yourself. Make decisions that you feel benefit you in a positive way. Make decisions that you feel help those around you. And one of those decisions is calling the National Suicide Hotline. And you could call or text 988, or you could dial 1-800-273-8255. 1-800-273-TALK. Every single day we are losing somebody in uniform, outside of uniform, in our homes, in our hospitals, in our parks, in our forests. Guys, you are not alone when I tell you that if you are feeling down today, you're not the only one that's feeling that. There are a million people who are feeling the same way, and a million people have to find a positive exit strategy. I'm going to say it again. The National Suicide Hotline, you could call or text 988 or dial 1-800-273-8255 or 1-800-273-TALK. This is not a joke, people. We joke around, we fuck around, we poke at each other, but one thing stands true is that we care about you guys and we care about your well-being. So we hope to see you in 168 hours next week, and we promise you we'll be back. We will be here live, having a good time, talking about great shit, or ranting about bad shit. Whatever it is. I love this podcast. I love what I do. I'm starting to get myself into a positive mental environment after the last couple weeks, because I know you guys who watch this show and Jay and Squillini saw it. I've been kind of an emotional mess, but I'm starting to get out of that.
It's spring again, John. It's gonna be okay.
I know. And this year I'm making it worth my while to get the fuck outside. Yeah, that's exactly what needs to be done. So we're gonna go touch grass. Got some more work today. Jay, Squillini, I love you guys. Thank you so much. 152.
And it was a year from today that we did the hot nuts in your mouth challenge.
And I have it, and I don't shit the same.
I'm pretty sure I shit I've been shitting my spleen this morning. I
don't shit the same. And guys, if you don't want to shit the same either, go have those hot nuts. But
Yeah, put some hot nuts in your mouth.
And check out that episode. That's my favorite episode of all time, too. Easter nuts in your mouth. When
There's
this
40 minutes. I don't remember of that fucking episode. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
There's a chunk of time that I definitely lost.
Yeah, when this episode is uploaded, there's going to be a link to directly. Words are fucking hard, man. Holy shit. That will directly lead you into that episode along with other fun stuff. So, and one last thing. If you want to buy some DD214 gear, if you're making an order over $10, you can now make payments at cleansanchezmedia.com. And that is for all gear, DD214 gear. You could make payments. You could make payments like you're making a payment on the cell phone, guys. So we love you guys. Take it easy. We'll see you next week.
Guys, be good. See y'all later.